movie review, TV review, stage play, musical review channel. We'll review anything. Why not? You know. And with our latest review is
who cloned Tyrone, or they cloned Tyrone.
They cloned Tyrone.
They shouldn't have did it.
They shouldn't have, but they did.
Yeah.
Anyway, They Cloned Tyrone is a movie that's currently on Netflix, that was released on Netflix recently, starring Jamie Foxx, John Boyega, and Teyonah Parris, I believe her name is. You know who she is?
She's Keanu Reeves' sister?
No. Not even close. No, she's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. She plays the little girl from the Captain Marvel, the little black girl from the Captain Marvel movie. She grows up and she's in the Scarlet Witch show.
Oh yeah.
As a grown up, and I think she's going to be in the Marvels.
Yeah, she's supposed to be in the Marvels.
Right. So that actress is in this playing a completely different role, which is nice to see. Anyway, They Cloned Tyrone is interesting. It's kind of a...
Yes, I loved it.
You loved it. Now, right, Peter, right off the bat, it's an interesting movie. It's a throwback 1970s...
Well, I think the best way to describe it, that it's modern day.
Yes.
Yet it's the 70s cars, the 70s
styles,
clothing style,
language.
I would say the way they talked.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess the best way to describe it is to say it's Superfly in the 2000s.
Superfly in 2023.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if I've ever watched Superfly all the way through. It came out when I was a kid. Anyway, that's beside the point. So yeah, it's an interesting, because it's not just Superfly, it's sci-fi.
Yes.
I don't know if I wouldn't call it horror. It's not horror, but sci-fi, conspiracy theory genre.
It's a little bit of everything.
Yeah, blaxploitation, sci-fi, conspiracy theory, blaxploitation genre.
Yes, if you got all of that in you, you're gonna love this film.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was really interesting and different and kind of a unique thing to do. Mm-hmm. I thought it was really kind of like accurate with the kind of 1970s look and the language. Yes. And, you know, some of the sets and stuff look very of that era.
It was funny.
And it was funny. It was funny, but I think if you go into this thinking it's going to be a straight, comedy.
It's supposed to be a comedy. You're not going to get it.
You're not going to get it, right. Yeah, there's a lot of dramatic elements in this.
Yes, because just think, somebody could get shot. Horrible. Mm-hmm. But if they got shot by George Jetson, it would be like, what? Okay. What? That's funny. Yeah, but then they play the emotion of getting shot. Yes.
Like real, the drama of getting shot for real. Yes. So it's an interesting mixed bag of...
But then it's the 70s, but they're cloning.
They're cloning. And I think that plays into it, because if you wonder, it's like, well, if it takes place in present time, why in this one city, at least in this one city, is everybody dressed like 50 years ago? And just you can read it into it being a sci-fi movie, that because they are cloning, and this is the spoiler section now where we reveal everything, because they're cloning people, maybe the people aren't aware, don't progress and evolve over time, because they keep just replacing them. And the whole conspiracy is, and this is the black community they're replacing, and there's a whole twist about why they're doing that plays into black community. We got a lot of conspiracy theories about stuff, and probably some of that shit's true.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like taking that to the edge and like pushing that concept.
Yes, because even when, spoiler alert, one person is to tell somebody else that something's happening, well, that's snitching.
Right.
But the way the person tells the other person, he tells them in a now kind of way.
Okay.
But he talks to him and he says, yeah, but you're supposed to do this for me now. And then the other person talks to him in the 70s language of why I'm not going to do it and why you should just go home.
Okay. I'm not sure what you're just talking about the cross mix of because they're not complete. They're not in the 70s, but for some reason they are.
That's correct.
They don't explain why.
Well, I'll just say there's this little kid who's supposed to let the drug dealer know that somebody's hanging on your turf.
Mm-hmm.
But when he tells the drug dealer, very much in a 2023 type of language,
vernacular.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
And the drug dealer that he's talking to is talking back to him in a very 70s type of way.
Okay. Well, these particular three characters, I don't even know if John Boyega's character is really 70s, and more so Jamie Foxx and Teyonah Parris's are.
Yes, and they,
because everybody else really
the way
isn't.
it's set, it's actually hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
But it's done in a very dramatic way.
Well, yeah, there are dramatic moments in this that they take seriously. So yeah, it's an interesting movie. Like I said, I was going into it thinking it was going to be a straight comedy,
Mm-hmm.
but I was able to shift gears. It's like, oh, this person wants to kind of invoke not just the 1970s era look. It's not just the clothing look, it's the way it's filmed. It's a very grainy looking, and like the grainy film look as well, and the lighting and all of that.
The way it was filmed,
and
even the angles.
Yeah.
The way the cars were filmed and everything.
Yeah, it's very they're want to evoke that, but not only that, kind of like these sci-fi movies of that era. I don't know why. What movie popped into my head? Like Soylent Green popped into my head with this movie. There's this great, conspiracy going on that nobody knows. And, except the one guy who figures it out. In this case, three people figure it out. And
Did they figure out that they cloned Tyrone?
Well, you got to figure out, because nobody throughout the whole movie is called Tyrone but you find out in the end. And it's a great reveal, I thought. How we figure out who Tyrone is.
Yeah.
And so and it plays into the whole conspiracy.
What's her name told us? She had that whole song about Tyrone.
Erykah Badu.
Yeah.
And they played this on the end credits, which is great. But so, any other thoughts? Really interesting, really fun concept. Hamilton needs to watch it. If you watch this, Hamilton, I don't know if you do, but we told him he needs to check it out because it's up his alley. But yeah, if you're expecting a comedy or even you're going to be surprised. If you like kind of like sci-fi conspiracy theory movies from the 1970s, I think you'll really enjoy this. You kind of got to go into the headspace thinking about this. Don't shut it off too early because there's the reveals that come.
Yes.
Throughout this movie, and it's it's like there's white people underground who are doing things to keep the black community in its place.
Yes.
For the greater good of the rest of America, which I think is really relatable.
Yes. But at the same exact time, if you could actually have two or three things in one space at the same time, that's what this is.
Okay.
Because if you're looking at it, looking to see an older 70s movie, you'll see it, but that's not what you'll feel.
Okay.
If you're looking at it to look at a 2023
it's
movie,
kind of
that's not what you're going to get, but that's exactly what you're going to get.
Well, it's like an interesting because it has the look and the feel of a '70s movies, but it has the current editing and pacing, so it's not, you know,
Yes.
and stuff like that. So, any other words on flying? This was pretty good. This was a very interesting, creative mash of genres, I thought.
Well, I looked at it as Jamie Foxx and
Jamie Foxx is hilarious.
and he's one of the producers.
Okay. Yes.
And any of the producers, directors, this was probably an unbelievably challenging, unbelievably hard, unbelievably focused to do this movie, while at the same time being the best, the funniest, the most outrageous, the most I don't know anything movie you can think of. Like I said, those two things operating in the same space.
Well, this movie was directed by Juel Taylor and co-written by him and Tony. I can't read that. Rittenmeyer. Juel Taylor. I just looked at. He also did Creed 2, which is a movie we liked. Creed 2 is good too.
Yes.
So I don't know if what else has he gone on? I know a lot of the people who've done the Creed movies have gone on to do other stuff, I think. So it's
and Tyrone.
Interesting young black filmmakers. So I'm glad to see them having some success and getting some work and doing interesting stuff like this. I don't know if this was released straight to theaters, if it would do well, but going straight to Netflix, I think more people will pick it up and kind of give it a chance.
I think you're right. I would have liked to seen it in theaters. I would have liked to seen it on the big screen.
What is this? No, I'm just kidding. So, but yeah, but I'm glad it's like it was a catch. I don't know if I would have gone to it in theaters unless I heard like really good reviews or word of mouth.
I would have
had to have something preemptive. But on Netflix, you just I got something to watch. This looks kind of interesting, and it was. So that's They Clone Tyrone. It's currently playing on Netflix now. Treat it as a drama with comedy, a sci-fi drama with some really really comedic elements. I think you'll find it interesting and may enjoy it. I think we should watch it again. I want to pick up on some more stuff. I think that might have been there.
Shaft and Superfly.
Shaft and Superfly.
That's what it is.
It means
updated Shaft
and
and Superfly. Plus the Soylent Green.
And the millennial era.
Yeah.
New millennial era. Anyway, so if you've seen it, let us know in the comments, and we out.
We are out.
Bye. Oh,
Bye.
I didn't mention our new camera setup. So after our last last kerfuffle, how's it look? I had to break out my really good camera. And it actually looks really good. I probably should have did this a long time ago. Just trying to stay cheap here, y'all. Anyway, we're out.
We're out.
Bye.